In today's video, let's talk about your ideal body fat percentage and your sweet spot when it comes to looking and feeling your best. Having just finished a mini cut, I figured this is a great opportunity to share some valuable insights with you. Let's get to it. So 11 years ago, after finally losing 50 pounds of fat that I struggled for years to get rid of, I went on a 7-month muscle building phase where I gained 30 pounds. So pretty reasonable, I'd say by most standards, not overly aggressive, but I noticed the last 4 months, I just wasn't feeling that great. I was actually feeling awful. My performance on the ice was suffering, and playing hockey there was slowing down. I felt more sluggish. I felt sluggish just all day long. My sleep wasn't as good. I just felt full and bloated all the time. So the next 4 muscle building phases that I went through, again, lasted about 6 to 7 months. I only gained 20 pounds, but again, the last 3 months, just really feeling awful. And that seems to be a common experience for a lot of my fellow bros out there. Just talking to 2 guys at the gym who are at the end of their muscle building phases right now, and they're just feeling terrible. They're not hungry and just forcing food into them. Why do they do that? Why did I gain 30 pounds and 20 pounds and get to the point where I just not feeling very good? It's just the typical muscle building advice that you hear out there. I was hearing it from my colleagues. After I lost that 50 pounds of fat, everyone's like, prime time to, 36 years young, really take advantage of these last years, really trying to gain the most muscle possible. If you want to get big, you got to eat big. Again, not be afraid to lose your abs. So I followed that advice, and it really didn't pay off. Each time I maybe gained a pound of muscle. So having learned from those experiences, during the past 6 years, I've gone through 6 muscle building phases where I've stayed in what I consider to be my 5 to 8 pound sweet spot. Now, mind you, I am 5'7", 148 pounds, 47 years young, over 30 years of lifting experience under my belt. So I know gains come at a slow pace no matter what I'm doing. And each time I've noticed the exact same end result, gaining about a pound of muscle each and every time. Now, this last muscle building phase I went through lasted 14 and a half months, and I pushed it to 10 pounds, gaining 10 pounds during that process. And I noticed at the end, those last few pounds, even though it's not a lot of weight, mind you, for a guy my size, my frame and everything, it's a fair amount of weight, but those last 3 pounds, I'm starting to feel sluggish. I'm starting to not quite feel my best. Still feel good, still look great, but not quite my best. So here's some footage of how I looked at the end of that 14 and a half muscle building phase, the beginning of the mini cut. So you can see, still lean, still looking fantastic. I certainly didn't end that muscle building phase because of my appearance. I was still really pleased with my overall aesthetics. I stopped because of how I felt. I was feeling a heaviness in my abdomen. It just felt bloated and a little bit sluggish there. So as you can see from the side profile here, it's not like I'm carrying a lot of subcutaneous fat between my muscles and the skin, but my lower belly is kind of protruding a bit. It's just sticking out a little bit more than what it is right now, which has me thinking I'm probably carrying a fair amount of that 10 pounds that I gained is visceral fat, around the organs internally, kind of pushing my abdomen outwards, which I think would explain a lot of the discomfort there. And that is dangerous. The visceral fat leads to greater health risks. So really glad that I am staying on top of this. It's just some insights, some value from watching these videos and paying attention to how I feel, just having this heightened sense of awareness. So I did that mini cut for 2 weeks, and you can say it was a nice relaxed approach. I was flexible dieting, eating what I wanted, a nice slow and steady approach. I wasn't really tracking my weight at the end. I could kind of tell I probably lost about 3, maybe 4 pounds there. Looked great. So you can see a visual difference from that. After the first 4 days of being in that calorie deficit, I was finally starting to notice that, okay, I'm experiencing some relief from that heaviness. It was still there, but it took 4 days of being in a calorie deficit to experience some of that relief. By the end of the 2 weeks, it's okay, I'm really starting to feel good right now. Then I went on vacation, gained some of that weight back, which was intentional. I went there on that vacation to Vancouver with the intention to eat, experience all the restaurants out there and live my life to the fullest. I still ate responsibly, but it was still calorie dense foods, which led to some of the weight gain there. So when I got back from vacation, I got right back into this mini cut, which I'm ending today after 4 weeks. And I can honestly say I've never looked and felt better. I am thriving in all aspects of my life right now. So again, I took a very relaxed approach with my diet, a very flexible approach with my diet during the past 4 weeks. I went out for all-you-can-eat sushi twice, once on a date, once with my family, my kids, my parents. I had pizza with my parents the other day. There was a few times where I had a couple of drinks. So very relaxed, never deprived myself, which I think makes this experience a lot more enjoyable. I'm not in a rush to get this done, but again, I didn't want to drag it on any longer than it needed to be. So I guess another great question would be, if I continue on this mini cut and get a little bit leaner, would I still feel great? The answer is yes, absolutely. From my past experiences of doing multiple photo shoots and bodybuilding contests, I know I can still feel great if I lose another 2, maybe even 3 pounds, but I wouldn't necessarily feel better. So there's really no reason for me to push beyond this point. And I know if I push even further beyond that, my performance is likely going to start to diminish, start to decrease. Maybe not awful, but again, it's much like pushing myself a little outside of my comfort zone when it comes to gaining the fat, feeling a little bit uncomfortable, my performance decreasing. The same can happen if you start to push a little bit beyond your ideal body fat percentage, your ideal level of leanness. So you really gotta ask yourself, like, why would you take it to that point? Is it just temporarily? You wanna test your limits, see what you can achieve? Maybe you do want to do a bodybuilding contest. Maybe it's a bucket list item for you. But what I have seen happen in the past with some of my fellow bros who do end up competing is that they kind of get this ideal image in their mind of like, that's what razor sharp abs should look like. And they think that's something that they can maintain, and they go through their life feeling like shit. They're sleeping like shit. Their energy's in the tank. Their libido's in the tank. Yeah, you got freaking chiseled, peeled abs, but it's not worth it. And again, it's kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say a fine line, but it's something that you need to be aware of. And it's going to be something different for all of us. It's an individual experience where a certain level of leanness is where we're going to start to experience that performance decrease and starting to experience some of the negative side effects. So more on that coming up in a moment. Now, it's important to note, if you're going through a cutting phase and you're starting to feel like crap, it may have nothing to do with how lean you are. It may simply be diet fatigue, especially if you've been dieting for an extended period of time. So really want you to have a heightened sense of awareness once you bump up your calories to maintenance level, how you feel at this level of leanness. This is going to be my first day at maintenance level calories. If I'm feeling as good as I am right now, I can't wait to see how I feel when I'm back up to maintenance level calories and a gentle calorie surplus as I embark on another incredible muscle building journey. I just crushed a leg workout, about to head to my parents, going to take a dip in their pool along with my furry homie Chiefy dog, have a few drinks, and have some pulled pork grilled cheese sandwiches. One of my favorites, my guilty pleasure there. I had one last night with my kids, so I had some pulled pork left over. Figured I'd share the rest with my parents there. This is basically how I've been eating throughout the entire mini cut. And that's the thing. How I eat when I'm losing fat, maintaining my weight, or gaining muscle is exactly the same. The only difference is the portion sizes, or basically how much I consume throughout the week. So today would likely be around maintenance level calories, even in a cutting phase. Then I just kind of balance things out throughout the rest of the week by eating a little less. Today I'm actually in maintenance, so I'm going to enjoy that. And if I go a little bit over maintenance, not that big of a deal because I am done the mini cut now. So those are some key tips. Like, really keep your lifestyle exactly the same, whether you're losing fat, maintaining your weight, or building muscle. It's just the portion size of your food that's going to change. Hi, Chiefy doggy. Who's a happy boy? Who's a happy boy? You chilling like a villain? Oh my. So as you can see, I found my sweet spot through trial and error. I went through times where I gained a little more fat than I'm comfortable with physically and lost a little more fat than I'm comfortable with physically. So it is really a matter of trial and error for you. It's not going to happen at once, but it really requires a heightened sense of awareness, really paying attention as your body is changing, as you're leaning out, as you're gaining a little bit more fat during a muscle building phase, how you are feeling. How's your energy? How's your performance? How's your strength? How's your sleep? How's your libido? How are all of those factors coming into play, and noticing the range that suits suits you best. Again, I'm a smaller guy, so that 5 to 8 pound range seems to be best for me. So staying within that sweet spot is where I know I'm always going to feel my best. So not pushing too far beyond that when I'm trying to get lean, and not pushing too far beyond that when I'm trying to build muscle. I want to be thriving all the freaking time. And again, it's at this stage in the game. If I was younger, late teens, early 20s, maybe I'd push it a little bit more, really take advantage of those early years of lifting. But at this stage, when I know gains are coming slow anyways, I'm just staying at a point where I am going to thrive. So again, it's going to be very individual to you. If you're a bigger bro, like, you may find like you have a 20-pound sweet spot, or you can swing in weight and you're still feeling your best. But even within that 20-pound sweet spot where you're feeling really good all the way through, I want you to pay attention to where you actually feel your best. Like I said, I've got some room to lose a little bit more. I'd still feel my best. And I got some room to gain a little bit more fat from where I'm at, and I'd still feel my best. But right now, in this moment, like where I'm at right now, this is the ultimate for me, which is why I stopped at this point of the cutting phase there. I'm really happy with where I'm at, both appearance-wise, aesthetic-wise, but how I feel more than anything. So I really want you to focus on how you feel, because sometimes, like, as you're leaning out, as you're building muscle, you're going to get to a point where you're not feeling as well. You got to decide, is it worth it for me to push beyond that? So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm really looking forward to jumping in the pool with Chiefy Dog right now, having some pulled pork grilled cheese sandwiches with my parents, and cracking open a drink as soon as I get in the house here. I'll probably have 2 while I'm enjoying my parents' company today. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please do me a favor and smash that thumbs up, and I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. If you know a fellow bro who would benefit from watching today's video, please do them a favor and share it with them. More than anything, I'd love to hear from you down in the comments section below. Share your thoughts, share your insights, share your feedback and your personal experiences. I would love to know if you've found your sweet spot, what that range is, where you feel your best. So take a moment to share it down in the comment section below so we can all learn and grow together, learn from each other's experiences. Before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Lose Fat, Get Jacked. Have yourself an amazing day. Catch you in the next video.